give me a minute. And once I'm live on those, I'll definitely start bringing folks up. All right, cool. Looks like I'm live there. I appreciate y'all. Y'all go ahead and start liking this live. Start sharing this live, please. If you would like to talk about what I have on the board, I definitely appreciate you. You can also call in. If you'd like to talk about what I have on the board, I appreciate you. You can always call in if you're not able to send a guest request. If you're not able to send a guest request, go ahead and call in, and I'll definitely talk to you over the phone as well. I'm just going to go ahead and bring up Avenged Undergrad. Thank you for being patient, Avenged.
Hey, man. How's it going?
I'm all right. How's it going, Avenged?
We have almost the same phone number. Are you in Broward?
Well, that's where I used to live. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Broward County, go Canes. You saw the Canes won the other day, right?
Oh, I don't know much about sports, man.
Okay, cool. Not a problem. All right. So are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm 25. And yeah, sure.
Cool. Do you disagree with me that leftist policies are better for society?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I have some issues. I mean, people that call themselves leftists usually have like not good opinions. I like liberals better.
Okay, cool. What opinions do you think that I had? What opinions do you think come from the left that you would disagree with or think aren't good?
I don't think they're very considerate. I think people on the left usually just try to follow social norms, see what's socially accepted, and then they try to support policies based on that. I don't think leftist people try to be like, no, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like in general, people that call themselves leftists and like they're very social media-y. Like they don't look at textbooks. They're not interested in that type of stuff. They see people, they hop into norms and catchphrases like, oh, everyone should have healthcare, everyone should have education, and they don't look into literatures. So that's my problem with leftists.
I would disagree with that because I would say that's basically you're a typical like a non-engaged person, you know what I mean? But a lot of leftists that they talk about, one of the things that people have an issue with a lot of leftists is that they speak about theory a lot without actual talk about praxis. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the big things on the left right now, as a matter of fact, where a lot of it is talking about what to actually do. They talk about the theory of it, but not really how to put it into, or how to do good praxis. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's a good point.
So they do talk about theory a lot, but one thing when you say that they just go off of like basically what's popular, what's the status quo, I wouldn't say not really, because what's the status quo is typically against what the left wants. You know what I'm saying? There are still people who say that single payer healthcare is like government tyranny and stuff like that. So it's not really the status quo. It's more popular now ever since Bernie Sanders, but it's not really what status quo is. People are still really, really afraid of it. So hey, Happy New Year, Black Liberator. But the leftists typically go against the grain of what people would typically say is kind of normal for society, especially when it comes to social issues.
Right, but I think like the left has a pretty big hand on the internet. They have like if you're very deep in social media, like you are probably going to be either far right or like far left. Like there's no like big liberals between, like talking about the internet all the time, you know?
Right. So I would say yeah, I mean when it comes to the internet, yeah, a lot of people I would say the internet is more on the right, especially when it comes to social medias. What's going on to here? Happy New Year. When it comes like to social medias, especially things like Twitter and the podcast space skews heavily right. You see what I'm saying? Because the largest podcaster right now is still Joe Rogan, and much of his content skews heavily to the right. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, correct.
Yeah. So like, yeah, sure. When you say Like when you're on the internet, I would say I would kind of agree with that. Most people on the internet are there's no really in between. Yeah, I mean, and that's because the in between. Whenever like I talk to people who are kind of more in between, they're just kind of Republican light. You see what I'm saying? They the only thing they really agree with is like same sex marriage, but everything else basically skews to the right.
Yeah. So okay. So let me just rephrase. That is true. So I don't want to downplay the existence of the far right in internet spaces. However, I think that the far left is very intertwined with internet subculture. So like, I
I
don't
agree.
think someone from like the work, like I don't think leftism is very heavy on like people from the working class, like your 50-year-old mom, my 50-year-old mom, your grandparents. I think it's heavily concentrated on teenagers,
I agree.
people that call themselves leftists.
I agree. Now, like a lot of these positions kind of skew young, right? So
Correct.
you'll feel like a lot of people who are far right are Gen Z, and a lot of people who are far
Yeah.
left are younger millennials and Gen Z. You see what I'm saying? So they skew these movements kind of skew young because they come up on the internet. So yeah, I could kind of agree with that, but when it comes to actually like that's why you would see that the people you run into who are on the left may not really know a lot of the literature because like they're kind of young, right?
Yeah,
But
but actually, you go finish. My
yeah,
bad.
but the people who actually give me 1 second. Hey Troy, if you're not gonna come up, then stop bitching on in my comments. Actually have a discussion or kind of go away. You know what I'm saying? So all right, but yeah, so that's what happens. They kind of skew young because of that, because that's how social movements are. They're always gonna skew young. That's why when you run into people, you're thinking that they don't really read a lot or kind of know what they're fully what they're talking about. But when you actually speak to people who are like within spaces of like activism and stuff like that, you'll see that they start to actually know what they're talking about because they read a lot more and they research like what these policies do. You see what I mean?
Yeah, correct. So I don't disagree with that. But like, for example, liberals, like the highly educated liberals are way different from like the highly educated leftist. So highly educated leftists, like they basically at most read like super hardcore, non-mainstream literature, like Rosa Luxemburg, Marx, etc. And then Ezra Klein, like he probably actually talks to like economists. He probably listens to textbooks and all that stuff. So I think those two kind of groups are entirely different in that sense.
Like yeah. So when we talk about liberals, we gotta see like what exactly do we mean by liberal? You mean like you're kind of mainstream Democrat voter?
Yeah, center left, maybe Bill Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
Clinton's, maybe Barack Obama, those
Mm-hmm.
people.
The difference that I see with like liberals and leftists is that when it comes to liberals, right, they're more willing to engage in basically like what I would call like world policeism. You know what I'm saying? Like military actions, more going out of their way for foreign aid, and they have disagreements on what to do about Israel, right? So that's really the hard line between, I would say, liberals and leftists. And liberals are more on the line of let's engage and try to reform capitalism, while leftists are like, this can't be reformed. We have to do something completely different. You see what I'm saying? So that's really much of the difference. It's more on like foreign policy and the economy. Liberals are more on the end of they're still capitalists, just want to rein in a lot of capitalism. And leftists would say that we can't really reform capitalism. We got to do something else. That's
Yeah,
really the
correct.
difference.
Yeah, I think leftists hop on conspiracy theories way too much, unlike the far right.
Yeah, exactly. I won't say leftists. When you say conspiracies, what conspiracies you think the left is adheres to?
The United States is some imperial power that is trying to keep countries poor in Latin America, in Africa, and in other places, maybe
That's true.
Southeast Asia.
That's true. That's actually true. If you look
I
up
think there are
if you look up what
individual examples. I don't think that's overall the true narrative.
no, it's true. When you look at what the CIA has done in all these places, that's exactly what they do.
So it
They take out
it
the leaders who are like, for example, the best examples of Africa, and two examples of Africa are Sankara and Patrice Lumumba, the one of the first prime ministers of Congo. They wanted to use their resources in order to benefit the people of their countries. the CIA then set them up to be assassinated, and that happens constantly. As a matter of fact, the CIA set up the first prime, not the first prime minister, but the prime minister of Iran, and in 1954. That those files were already released. They set him up to be overthrown, and then they put in a puppet government who would always like agree and do things for the West. And then when the people overthrew that person, that's how we have the Islamic people that we have. That's why we have the Islamic regime that we have today in Iran because of the 1974 revolution. Like the CIA has been involved in like doing these things in South America and Africa and the Middle East by, either assassinating or overthrowing their leaders and putting in leaders that will be friendly to the West into American interests. Like that part actually is true.
No, yeah, I know the intervention is true, especially in the Cold War.
Mhm.
I don't think the narrative that they're trying to keep countries poor and that they're succeeding at it is true. I think South America and Africa have inherently a lot of other problems. I think right now the United States is in fact trying to help them out. I think the United States is trying to do a lot of official development assistance, and over like the past 20 years, they've been doing a lot. They've been sending a lot of money. I think up in total of $3 trillion. They're also trying to. I mean, I guess they do support the IMF. So the IMF is trying to change other countries to make sure they don't mess up.
Yeah, when it comes to the support that's given to the, why do people keep dropping out? Yeah, y'all gotta wait, bro. When it comes to the support that America is giving to other countries, you have to understand what it comes with, right? A lot of those are loans that have higher interest rates. A lot of them are not in real infrastructure projects. They're just giving the money away, and it's getting funneled through like non-government organizations like NGOs, and those NGOs kind of just sit on the money and get favors from the foreign government, and then give them the money that they need while owning a lot of the projects that the government eventually does, right? So it's not really the fact that they're trying to help them out. It's more a sense of basically control that they're doing. They're not exactly helping them out with doing what like to build the country up. It's more for an advantage towards the United States or towards Canada or towards France. Like France did the same thing in all of its former colonies, right, in the Sahel region, which is right in the Sahel Alliance. They kicked out France and they kicked out all the gold mining companies from the French companies because they said the same thing. Since we know how to mine, we're gonna come in and put this company in, and then you can go ahead and then we're gonna mine the gold for you, and then we're gonna do this entire deal and everything like that. But it saw that the deal was an unfair trade deal, basically. Like those companies will take at least 80 to 90% of the profits, so they're extracting the resource while the country doesn't benefit from it. The same thing is happening in Sudan with the United Arab Emirates. The UAE has mining companies in the Sudan, but they're basically funding a civil war, basically funding a genocide in order to make sure that the Sudanese ethnic group that wants to take over and use that gold to benefit Sudan is not in power. You see what I'm saying? So this happens a lot. America has done that too. With in the Congo, Germany has done that with the beers, where they funded civil wars over diamonds. Kanye West song, Diamonds Are Forever. That's what that
Yeah.
song was about. It was about blood diamonds. The movie Blood Diamond even shows you that too, where private companies from Europe will set up diamond mining companies in Africa, and they would like basically fund or cause ethnic strife in order for the ethnicity there to sell them cheaper diamonds. You see what I'm saying? And then they will turn around and sell those diamonds to consumers for tens of thousands of dollars. Like this is a case all the time, and this happens in Haiti too. In Haiti, like where this T-shirt was made, where my parents are from. My parents are from Haiti. Like the Hanes company over there, they set up sweatshops and pay those people 10 cents an hour. And then when those people rise up and say you got to pay us more, they would fund the gangs in order to crush the rebellion. You see what I'm saying? So this happens a lot. This is why when people say that the West is trying to help them out, you have to look at what really is happening, because it's not really.
No, but when we're talking about official development assistance, I don't even think that's loans. I think that's just free money for education, health expenses, diseases, all that stuff. And there are studies like for example, they give money to a certain country in Africa, and they found out like only 10% of the money is spent on education. Because obviously there's a lot of corruption in these countries. I don't
Mhm.
think that development assistance was something loans, and I do think the IMF, however, does hand out loans to countries
Mhm.
in certain situations, but those loans are below market rates. That's why countries have to accept them because they're
Right,
not going to get
exactly.
them from the United States, the UK, from other countries.
Mhm.
That's why they're forced to accept these loans and accept all the conditions with the loans.
Right, exactly. And those loans are essentially neocolonialism because they have higher interest rates or they're tagged with like
No, they
you
have
have
lower
to.
interest rates. IMF loans are famously known for having low interest rates.
Right, but what I'm saying is that in order to pay it back, you have to pay. You have it's basically you have to spend a certain amount of your GDP paying the loan back. You see what I'm saying? And when you send a certain amount of your GDP paying the loan back, that money isn't going to invest into the country. It's going to be basically paying off the loans. Like the IMF did this to Haiti, like
So
for.
the IMF only goes into countries that already have like debt problems.
Mhm.
So like instead of borrowing them at like 10% interest rates, they go into a country. You're like, okay, we'll give you 3% interest rates,
Mhm.
but you have to reform your economy. That's what they do.
Right, you have to reform your economy, and that loan you have to use 25% of your GDP in order to pay back the loan. So it's not the economy doesn't get reformed at all. And not only that, yeah, you have to reform the economy, and a lot of times when they do those reforms, they're more advantageous to the West and to the actual country.
No, but they're to the actual country. It's an organization full of experts. Like
I
for example, they might go into, I forget what the African country is, but they might say, hey, you guys need to diversify. You guys depend too much on diamonds, and that's not good for you because you could have like business cycle effects like every 3 years, and that's kind of problem for its political stability. You might have labor market problems, or like you have 20% youth unemployment rate. You might have way too much spending, which is why you were in a debt problem in the first place, and you need to ramp down of the spending, which is what a lot of protests come down to against the IMF, right? They tell countries not to spend.
Right. So when it comes to the IMF, yeah, sure, like that, those are good pieces of advice, right? That like diversify your economy, but again, a lot of these a lot of what they advise again is much more advantageous to the West than the actual countries because they will just want to advise them to diversify their economy. They'll also say do this trade deal or do that trade deal, and those don't really advantage the country at all.
No, I do think just a lot of trade deals benefit countries at all. I think countries would be worse off if there were autarkies when you have no trade at all. I
Mhm.
think even like mining contracts from foreign entities are good. Like there's like why does it matter if like the owner of a mining company is from the United States or from Chile? Like it honestly doesn't matter if they do the job better. If they get more per dollar than the US owner, then that's good.
No, the problem is that what is the advantage towards, like, for example, like I said, the t like Hanes is a t-shirt company that operates in Haiti, right? And they see that Haitian seamstresses make good quality shirts, but they pay them 10 cents an hour, and they come over here and sell those shirts for 18. That's a huge markup for a shirt that only costs 10 cents to make. You see what I'm saying? So there's no advantage to the person working in a sweatshop in Haiti. They should be getting paid way more than that, right? And so if the shirts are selling for 18 in America, why can't the person in Haiti get paid 5 or 10 or 15?
Well, the labor productivity in Haiti is way lower than the United States and way lower than a lot of countries. That's not the fault of the entrepreneurs. In fact, it's due to not having a lot of entrepreneurship in the first place because Haiti is very unstable. We can talk about the history of Haiti, but Haiti is inherently unstable. And so a lot of investment, a lot of capital infrastructure investment doesn't get made.
Why
And so
is
you have a
Haiti? But why is Haiti unstable? Is it like there are internal problems that made Haiti unstable? But was the instability in Haiti caused externally or internally?
uh I mean, there's a lot of debate on that because obviously the Haitian Revolution was internally, but of course it's because France was involved in the first place.
Mhm.
So it's Haiti is one of those cases where you can go like, okay, like France did kind of maybe messed up its institutions, and then that kind of made Haiti like be so political unstable for centuries to come.
And the United States. You know what I'm saying? So we just can't look at like out of like we're looking at Haiti now, and there's not a lot of entrepreneurship because it's unstable. We have to look at why it's unstable, and definitely there's a brain drain on there, right? And the thing is, the product, it's not that the productivity of Haiti is low simply because it's low. There's a reason why it's low. Like, you don't think paying them 10 cents an hour is going to make them low?
Yeah. But I think there's a difference between saying that France being involved messed up their institutions for centuries to come compared to the United States and other countries that are exploiting Haitians right now. So I would agree with the former, but I wouldn't agree with the latter.
But they are taking advantage of them every time the workers demand to be paid more. The companies pay the gangs in order to crush that. So
Yeah,
they are
well,
taking advantage.
the company should get thrown in jail or anything like that. But I do think that the wage that the Haitians get paid is due to just the market conditions. Like I think if you try to raise some people would just leave, they wouldn't invest anymore. In countries where you have just rising productivity, since firms compete against each other, it just wages and labor compensation rises, which is what you saw in Chile during the 80s and 90s and 2000s, which is what you saw in Singapore and East Asia and Taiwan, South Korea, the United States. It's just if you just have a good environment where investors are protected, you will have higher labor compensation in the future.
Right. I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't agree. I do agree with that. Right. I do agree that there needs to be safety and everything like that. Right. But what happens in Haiti is, whoa, go on, mute yourself for me real quick. But what's going on in Haiti is more than just like if you raise the wages, people are not going to invest anymore. They're just going to leave because it's already very, very cheap to do business over there. The issue is that, of course, you have issues like government corruption, and you have issues of like basically the wealthiest people in Haiti kind of run the country like a mafia. They're kind of above the law, right? So that's really the issue there. But these companies, instead of saying, hey, and we're not going to operate in your country unless you fix this, they just work with the mafia. I mean, so that just causes problems.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I appreciate the Avenger. I appreciate the conversation. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Have a good one.
You too. Appreciate you. All right, guys, keep liking the live and keep sharing. Keep liking the live and keep sharing. I appreciate all of you here. Give me 1 second. Zado, is that your name?
Yes,
How's it going, Zado? Are you at least 18? And do you think leftist policies are better for society?
I am 18. I do think it's a good alternative, but I believe there's a better one.
What's the better one?
Sharia law.
You think Sharia law is better for society?
Yes, in general, yes. Generally, yes.
No, I don't think theocracy is good for society at all. Why would a theocracy be good for society?
I mean, if the theocracy have good laws, good wealth distribution to people, then it's good.
Well, I don't believe in the Bible, so why I mean, not the Bible. I don't believe in the Quran, so
Uh-huh. Yeah, but yeah, you have your own law in the Sharia law state. You have your own rules and your own lifestyle within your community.
okay, so under Sharia law, gay people could get married and trans people could live their lives without worried about being hung or anything like that.
Generally, for the non-Muslim, generally for the disbeliever, yes, because they have their own way of lifestyle as their lifestyle, and they what's it called? Like for example, they could drink alcohol inside their private homes. It's their own homes, their private homes. They're not doing it in public. You know what I mean?
Okay, what if I want to build a bar? I can't build a bar because I'll be tricking in
No,
public.
yeah, you can't. No.
Right, exactly. So that's a problem. So why can't I build a bar in my society? That's that I won't agree with Sharia law because of that. Like that's again that's theocracy. I don't live under theocracy.
I mean, why build a bar in the first place? Like, what benefit do you get? Use it for society?
Yeah, people build bars in order for like camaraderie, in order to meet with other people. People like to drink occasionally. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, of course,
Yeah, but
alcoholism is a
why
problem,
not
right?
encourage?
Yeah,
Why not
alcoholism would be a
arrange
problem, right?
like a
I do
private
agree that
dinner?
we should deal with alcoholism in a certain way. Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't want to restrict people's freedom to drink or get high or anything like
I
that.
mean, it's not really restricting people's freedom though. Like in terms of what, like you can just not arrange a meeting within your own community or your own friends, families, etc. And like enjoy the drink there instead of making a bar. Like doesn't benefit the society in any way, shape, or form.
Non-benefit society creates a third place. It creates a space for people to meet. We want less control. We don't want more control. We want less control.
I mean, you're not being controlled by who?
If I can't build a bar, then they're not being controlled. If a person who's LGBTQ can't go outside and hold hands and express love to each other, then they're being controlled.
I mean, why
Un-
express love public?
under
That
under
goes for the
under Sharia
same.
law, can I say
Hold
the
on.
under
It
Sharia?
goes for the same gender.
Right,
Okay, sorry. Go
let,
ahead.
let me ask this: under Sharia law, can I go out in public and say the Quran is wrong?
Yes, as long as you have evidence and what's it called factual, then go ahead, try that. As long as not what's it called bogus, like not taken seriously. But if you do have like good arguments, then you can arrange a meeting with a scholar and you guys can debate on it. I mean, you will not get executed or anything happen to you. No, generally the Quran even asks you to challenge it,
Mhm.
to even produce a chapter on it.
Right. I don't want to I don't want to do all that. I just want to go out there and say, hey, I don't believe in the Quran is wrong. I think it's BS.
Okay, then that's your belief.
Uh,
That's your belief.
right, but can I do
That's
that
your
out in
belief. Like
public? Can I
the
do it out in
state,
public with nothing being nothing happening to me?
that nothing is gonna happen. I mean, the state is not gonna do anything to you, but the individual people, I don't know, because like they may not represent Islam, as you know. Everyone is different. You know what I mean? Everyone does their own thing. I don't know, but personally, it will not offend the state, or it won't have anything against Islam. But whether it's an individual, I don't know, because people
Mm-hmm.
in some way will be offended. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But generally you won't be anything happen to you. But yeah, generally as the state or the system won't do anything to you as long as you provide good arguments. If you're going ahead just screaming, causing a public disturbance,
Mm.
which I hope you don't do that, you know what I mean. But if you're here to debate, actually make arguments, sure, go ahead.
No, I mean, you see now, if we're gonna be talking about just making an argument, sure, yeah, you know what I mean. But like, if you're saying that I can go out in public and say the Quran is wrong and I won't be arrested, I want to make an offense to the state, then all right, cool. Like I guess that's okay. But still, I don't think I still don't think I'll be comfortable living in a society where it's ruled by a certain religious text. Like I'm just not comfortable
I
with that.
mean,
That
you're
something
not
always
being
happens.
ruled by specific text. I mean, you're not really being ruled by the specific text unless you have done a serious crime such as murdering, such as raping,
Hmm.
then etc. Exploitation. Then you'll be fall under the religious text. However, generally, you'll fall on your own morality or your own community's morals and value,
Okay,
as
so
long as it doesn't.
all right, so
Yeah.
LGBTQ people are going to be allowed to get married. Women don't have to
I
stay in
mean,
the
you could
house.
arrange your own marriage. I mean, you could arrange a marriage such as the Christian have their own marriage. They also can arrange their own marriage in a way, the same way the Jews can arrange their own marriage according to their scripture. You can do the same thing according to your belief and your value. You can have make a marriage for your own community, etc., and then go ahead do your own thing. I mean, it doesn't generally affect the states in any way.
Are you sure, bro? Because a lot of these Islamic states don't allow that to happen.
I mean, these are really not really Islamic states, I would call them. The last one was the Ottoman Caliphate, which I would call the Islamic State. Generally, these people are in cahoots with the Westerners, which destroyed the Ottoman Caliphate. And they
Mhm.
have values that goes against Islam, such as allowing usury and interest, which is a big sin in Islam, just below murder and what's it called, shirk.
All right.
And grape, yeah, and grape. By the way, I forgot that. And grape. Usually, it's like biggest sin. It's like comparable having a war against God,
Mhm.
which is. nothing which is like what's so
Mhm.
called losing battle. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay, okay. I mean, if you say so, like I don't, I don't know, man. Like that's
But
not
that's
what
what
I've
the
heard about
Islamic
Sharia
is, bro.
before. I don't, no, no. Because the thing
Yeah,
is that,
no, but
mhm,
the thing is, you have to really study the Islamic history. Just don't take the present state because I would say that we're in a dark age. You know
mhm.
the term dark age
I know about the Dark
because there's
Ages.
no scientific achievement. Yes, I will call that is a dark age as many Muslims refer to this time and period dark age because we've been massacred, extremists, etc., taken over. You can research about the Islamic Golden Age,
Mhm.
especially my favorite part was the Abbasid Caliphate during the Baghdad.
I
You
heard
know,
about. Yeah,
everyone,
I've heard of those. I've heard of those. I mean, but the thing
yeah,
is, what
yeah,
you're
everyone came,
right, but so no, what
everyone
you're
came
saying,
except
no, give me a second. But like, it's like, I hear what you're saying, right? But people that I've spoken to that have advocated for Sharia law, and whenever I ask them, hey, is this a theocracy? Are we going to be ruled under like Islamic principles, meaning we have to follow what the Quran says? They've all said, yeah, that it's basically a theocracy, and I'm not sure that, or
I
I'm
mean,
even
that
not
is for the
sure. I do
Muslims
not want to be
only.
ruled
I
by
mean, that is for the Muslims only. That is for the Muslims only.
All right, so if
As
it's for
in
the
the
Muslims
Quran,
only,
people.
then all right. So okay, so this causes kind of contradiction because if it's for the Muslims only, you can go ahead and have Sharia law right now in your own community if you want. We don't need to have it
I
for all of
mean,
society.
there's what's so called. No, that's the thing is there's what's so called. There's two things for it to be applied. There has to be two things. First of all, it has to be majority Muslim. Number two, it has to be a Muslim ruler that what's so called. Then it can be initiated.
Right,
And
right.
right now, you don't see that going on.
Okay, so it has to be a majority Muslim, and it have to have a Muslim ruler. So if that's the case, then you can all just move into a neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, you can vote for a block captain or something like that, like we used to have, in back in the day, have a block captain, and boom, you have to do, Sharia whatever in between each other, right?
Yeah, that's just okay. That's just within the community. Sharia law means for the whole caliphate, for the whole, 2 billion Muslims. Is that a community?
Yeah, I don't want to live under a theocracy, bro. I'm sorry,
Yeah, no
I'm good.
worries, no worries. It's your opinion. I'm gonna respect that. The thing is, you're confusing that you should be living under what the Quran said, what the Quran is teaching the Quran and the Sunnah of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Generally, that is only for a Muslim. You have your own morals, and that what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam understood. The last prophet, he understood people have different morals of
Mhm.
different religion and culture. Unless you convert
Yeah,
to
and
our
so if that's the
religion,
case, yeah. So if that's the case,
uh,
we don't need Sharia for the whole world. You can just do Sharia in between each other. Like I was saying, I don't think it's
yeah, no
necessary.
worries,
I just don't want to live in a theocracy,
no
bro.
worries, no worries. But there bound to be someone in the majority in the caliphate. There bound to be someone who is what's called not Muslim. Therefore, these laws and rules were introduced to make up for them. You know what I mean?
All right, cool. I got you. All right, Zado, I appreciate you being up. You have a great day.
Do you have any more questions?
No, no, I'm good. All right, yeah, but yeah, I'm not living in a theocracy. I'm all right. Hey, Kicker, go ahead and come on up. I already sent you a request. Not sure why you're asking me if I'm a Somalian. I know we all look the same to y'all, but I am not. You can definitely see on the corner of my name that's not the Somali flag. So not sure why you're asking me that. But anyway, if you'd like to come up, go ahead and come on up and we can have that discussion. Let me go ahead and invite you again. Yeah, you asked me if I own a daycare in Minnesota, but I know what that dog whistle is. All right, I know what a dog whistle is. Okay, so we don't have to pretend. All right, here we go. D man, go ahead and come on up as well. All right, D man, go ahead and go as well. All right, so shout out to everybody who's watching me on YouTube right now. If you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, shout out to you. If you're watching me on Volsy Thought, shout out to you. And if you're watching me over on Facebook and Instagram, shout out to you over there as well. I appreciate all y'all being part of this. There is a call-in number, so if you'd like to call in and talk to me about what's going on, go ahead and call in, please. All right, Jarhead, why don't you go ahead and come on up and we can talk about that, Jarhead. Don't be shy, Jarhead. Go ahead and come on up. All right, and if you over on Facebook, you can go ahead and talk to me there as well. I'm gonna go ahead and tag a couple of folks over on Facebook. Give me a second, y'all. All right. Well, I'm back. All right. So, Jarhead, if you would like to have that conversation with me, definitely go ahead and come on up. I already sent you a request. Go ahead and come on up, and then we can definitely talk. And you can let me know about which party that you're sick of. Shout out to everybody who's watching me on the Deconstruction Junction. Again, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Remember, keep liking. There is a call-in number if you would like to call in. If you are over on YouTube, there is a call-in number if you'd like to call in. And if you are on Instagram, check the call-in number. You can call in there as well. I'm hoping y'all had a good New Year. Hey, Net, what's going on? The topic is on the board. Leftist policies are good for society. Just waiting for somebody to come up and debate with, or they can call ahead and call in. Shout out to Net over on my Facebook. And of course, over on YouTube, Resist, how's it going? Why does everybody want to talk about the Somali daycare centers? All right, and I sent people requests a long time ago. All right, Sovereign Reader, go ahead and come on up as well. Sovereign, how's it going, Sovereign?
Pretty good, you?
I'm all right. Are you at least 18? And what did you mean by the social policies?
I'm 19, born in 2006, and I think that leftist social policy is going to be the future. It's just how it is with how the world's going. I can't agree with American leftists when it comes to, economic policy. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can't agree with them when it comes to their social policy because their social and economic policy go into conflict, especially their immigration policy. I feel like if we're going to go to more of a social system, we need to kind of temper off immigration.
Why?
You can't have I guess you can't have a kind of like a heavy kind of like socialist or communist leaning, which I'm not really pro either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a libertarian capitalist or libertarian socialist.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit different than your average socialist or capitalist because we think that like the government should heavily monitor monopolies and go after them and make sure to dismantle them. Okay. And make sure to put a good 30 to 40% flat tax on those like cross country corporations or companies.
Okay.
But back to what I was saying is that I feel like if you want free healthcare,
good so far, but like when it comes to immigration, right? Immigration is a net benefit because it expands the tax base. So if we have if we have people coming into the country, and a diverse set of people is always an advantage because it brings in new ideas. How would this be bad for us?
It depends on how many you bring at what point of time. I feel like we're bringing in too many, and that we should be prioritizing those who bring more into the system than what we are now.
When you say we bring in too many, like what does that even mean? Because with our current system right now, like applying to come in takes like 20 years. So what are we?
No, I disagree. I disagree with.
I mean, I
disagree with how we have our system set up. I think our immigration system. I am an immigrant, so I think our immigration system should be cut down to about a year-long process, maybe 6 months if it comes to a refugee situation. And I think our immigration process really should differentiate in a quick, timely manner. Kind of like, I feel like we should have our territories, right? I feel we should take immigrants, put them in our territory if we're doing our background checks on them, just to see how they interact and function in kind of like a testing society, you know?
Okay, so like
And then I
when
feel like that would help speed up.
all right, so when we take in new immigrants, we should put them in Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, and the Virgin Islands, until like we're
Hey, you
sure
there?
that they can survive in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. And more like they won't cause too much conflict with the native people of the US, you know? Because like we have to understand that like religion, culture, upbringing bring in different perspectives and how you interact with people. And I kind of want like a test system before they are put out into the general public.
Most of the immigrants that come into the country are literally like the same religion of most of the people that are in the country already.
Okay, I still think they should be put into the test system before they are put in with the general public. It isn't really just about religion; it's about everything growing up.
Like what? Like about like what?
Well, just generally like experiences, where you're from, where you're used to, like those who are around you. Like you could say, like you could even put this with regular Americans, like someone who was someone who grew up in rural America versus someone who grew up in, I guess, big cities. There's a huge cultural and innate kind of like morality and just differences amongst them. And if you just put one with the others without kind of like time to get them prepared for it, they just kind of flop. I feel like that's what we do too much with our own immigration system. We just put people in there as if there aren't things that they need to be prepared for.
How do you explain the military?
The military?
Yeah, how do you explain that? In the military,
are you talking about how many?
No, because when you put all these people together, there's going to be conflict, et cetera, et cetera. But how do you explain the military? Because the military is people from all different walks of life, all different races, all different cultural lifestyles, right? And everything happens just fine. It goes swimmingly.
It goes swimmingly because they are all put under a long period of duress before they kind of like are just put out there, you know? Like when you have these recruits, they go over like 6 months to a year or more time training together, getting pretty much screamed at and pushed to their physical limits before they're just let loose into the military. It's not like they're just being put together after being trained in select groups, you know?
Right.
There need to be, my bad, you go.
But what I'm saying is that what you're talking about is basically regular everyday life, because when I go to work, I'm going to see people from different lifestyles and everything like that, right? So when you say that these immigrants, we have to put them in a testing society first, like what's the difference between Guam and somewhere like, you know, California or Florida? Like they're all going to be people of different walks of life, different opinions, different ethnicities. So there's not really going to be much of a difference there. Why put them there instead of like having them basically in the United States, you know what I'm saying, and just living their lives. When we're talking about immigration, the issue that people have is thinking that these people are somehow abnormal to everybody else, but we know that they're not. You know what I'm saying? They just
I don't believe that.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of them just speak a different language. It's not really much of a difference. I think what's going on right now, especially with MAGA, is they think that these people are a direct threat to their way of life, and they're really not. So that's really the only really issue. When it comes to immigration, I'm not sure how many would take a year. I'm not sure the numbers yet. I think it's somewhere around maybe a million or two, I think, a year. But again, that expands our tax base. That helps us with our demographic crisis that we're going around, because, you know, birth rates are declining across the board. You see what I'm saying? So it helps us with all that.
Saying, but like,
yeah, it helps us with all that. But it's like I'm not sure like how we can't have immigration and the social policies that we want if we have a people that's going to be contributing to the tax base.
Okay, first I would say that when it comes to immigration, that we shouldn't use immigration to fix the birth rate. That's not going to be a good path moving forward. Because do you believe that the people make the country, or do you believe that the country stays the same no matter what the people are?
The country stays the same.
I disagree, because the people make the culture.
Yeah, and culture always shifts.
Yeah, but how much do you want the culture to shift?
In as much a positive way as possible. Like this is kind of getting to the, like, if the culture shifts too much, it's going to be some sort of negative, but we know it's not.
Are you someone who subscribes to the idea that all cultures are the same?
No, not all cultures are the same. Of course they're not.
Are you saying that all cultures are equal? I'm not saying that you're saying this. I'm just trying to get understanding where you stand.
From where I stand, there are some cultures that do have negatives, right? No one, I don't think anyone should deny that there are things that are negative in some cultures. But as far as what we have in the United States, the immigrants that are coming in currently, I don't see how they would shift the culture to a negative state, because a lot of times when people come into a society, and when they're born into society, they tend to adopt more of the culture of that society than the one that they came from. Like, for example, my parents are from Haiti, right? In that society, it's very, very chauvinistic and patriarchal, meaning that kids are supposed to be seen and not heard. Women have a certain place, but if you look at Haitian American women, they don't act like that at all. When you look at Haitian American men, even a lot of us viewed as silly. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean by place of a woman? A lot of us think that's silly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that means that we adopted a lot of Western culture. So when we say that, how much do you want the culture to shift? I want to shift in as much of a positive way as possible, because diverse opinions bring that, right? And we know that the culture of America used to be a lot more negative towards people who look like me than it is nowadays. You see what I'm saying? And that's because we became more accepting, and we became a lot more immigrants came in, a lot more immigrants who look like me came in. You see what I'm saying? So it became a lot more accepting. So like when it comes to that, when people say how much you want the culture to shift, it kind of implies that, people who are coming in are gonna bring negative aspects, and I have to question why would we even think that in the first place?
Yeah, but I kind of understand your own experiences, maybe to a different degree, because I am a first generation immigrant myself. I'm come from Liberia, so I kind of like another African country, and it's just like I've seen in my own kind of like Liberian American community that there are those who do try to refuse to change, those who try to carry their culture into America. Like there have been a couple of cases where like children had to be separated from parents because parents were trying to abuse children, or men were trying to take away women's rights in these certain situations. And I'm saying that while these do happen in small cases, that if we bring in too many people from similar or the same culture, they're going to usually it's human nature to group up, and that if they do that, they won't adopt American culture. They won't assimilate to our culture or bring in the goods of their own. My thing is, I'm not against immigration as a whole. I think, though, that when it comes to kind of like UBI, you know what that is, right?
Universal Basic Income, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if we're ever going to get something like that, which I think is necessary for the future, I feel like we're going to, probably have to limit more, and then bring in probably more wealthy people. I don't really care where from. And then I will say that there is a concern that I escaped the third world. I don't want it to chase me here,
I mean, but how would it? You know what I'm saying? Because what you're talking about is people who are abusive, right? Most people are not abusive. So I mean, and those things that you're talking about are already illegal in America. You're saying that if we bring in like a lot more Liberians, we're gonna change the law for them to abuse their wives. That's
I'm not saying that.
Right. So it's
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we're going to change the law, but I'm saying that
it'll become more acceptable to abuse your wife. I don't think it'll become more acceptable to abuse your wife. Like I'm not sure where we're going with. Right. No, it's like the thing is what I'm kind of struggling with. I'm not sure where we're going with this, because it's like, if what you're talking about is abnormal, you know what I'm saying, already, you know what I'm saying, most people are not abusive, even in cultures where they don't put a lot of emphasis on treating women well. Even in those cultures, most of those husbands are not just beating on their wives, you know what I'm saying. So is one of those things where I'm like, I'm kind of lost on where I'm kind of harping on that point. I do apologize. I'm kind of harping on that point.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm kind of wondering. I'm just kind of using that as a reference point of what do you think? Like if you bring people in mass, what exactly is going to happen? Because I remember 10 years ago, this was a conversation with Syrian refugees, where people said if we bring in all these Syrian refugees, the culture of America will change, and people will bring in Sharia law. And there are people, there'll be like Qurans everywhere and everything like that. And this was 10 years ago. None of that happened. So it's like when we talk about, culture shifting, what do we mean? Like I'm always struggling with what exactly does that mean, and what do people think is going to happen exactly?
First of all, I'd say that most people, you're right, won't do that. But I'd also say that people from the Liberian community, which I'm not saying most people from Liberia do that. Most people I know don't, and they very are against it because they're very proud Americans. And I'm not saying that all immigrants do this, and I'd say that most legal immigrants do want to become American. That's why they did it the legal way. But I'd also say that they're also slightly a bit more tolerant of it. And what I say when I think culture shifting, I think culture shifting is a 30 to 40-year thing, you know? It's not going to happen within the first 20 years. It's going to take about the third generation before you start to see the culture shift.
Right, but when we talk about culture shift, right? We all want to the cultures are always going to shift. That's just a thing. It's going to happen. Culture's going to shift. But like what people are concerned about is shifting away from the status quo, what we know, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
It depends. Do you like the status quo of where you live, you know?
No.
And if people of that area, if the people of that area don't want to change, should they be forced to change?
Yes, because the people in Florida is a very racist state. That should change.
Okay, that's Florida. I'm talking, I guess that is a point. Wait, you think people of Florida are racist?
Florida's a racist state. Yeah, Florida's very racist. Now,
I've had a lot of good experiences in Florida.
The thing is because I grew up in Miami, right? So a lot of people kind of assume that because it's Miami and there's a lot of Cubans here, then it's gonna be all good and well. No, a lot of those Cubans are racist.
No, yeah, I bet. Like, if I'm right, nothing against the Hispanics, but they kind of do have a bit of a homogeneous culture, you know, where they're very tight knit, you know, and a little bit XC to outsiders, right? Or at least that's what I've experienced when I've been around them.
Outsiders who look like me and you. But if
they're a bit colorist, right?
Yeah, if an outsider looks like Timothy Chalamet, they're gonna be very friendly with that guy.
Yeah, they love that guy.
Yeah, exactly. But if an outsider looks like Kodak, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and I'd say that's a big issue when it comes to culture shift, you know? I'd say that, like, for all the benefits you get from bringing in new cultures, you also have to deal with some of the fact that some of these cultures aren't going to be so, I guess, progressive as America. I'd say that's a portion of it.
I mean, America has shifted much more to the right, like a lot. Honestly, like, there's a lot of progressivism in America. Yeah, I would agree with that, but much of it, even since the Obama days. Sorry, Tro, I gotta put you on mute for a second, Tro. Sorry about that. But yeah, even since the Obama days, like it was a lot more center right than it was what I would say left. But what I want to know, what I'm kind of still struggling with is that when it comes to the shift or the culture shift in of America, bringing in more and more immigrants, I guess, from the third world, how much of the shift you think is going to happen? Because like you're from the third world yourself, I am myself. Yeah, I mean, so it's like, what is the shift that you think is going to happen? Because I don't really see what the big shift would be.
It, for me, kind of like depends. Kind of like, again, the quantity of how many you bring, and then do you make sure to keep them separate when they're in this kind of assimilation stage? My issue is that in a lot of places recently, we haven't really
do that, bro. Why would we keep them separate? Why would we do that?
Do we want to really have a whole new culture kind of develop inside of America? Like, do we want to like break the like unity of the country? Like, I'm not saying that different cultures can't unify, but it makes it a lot harder to. And we already have so many different cultural problems between like northern states, southern states, western states, eastern states. Do we really want to bring more problems when it comes down to like unity?
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm sorry, sure. Give me 1 second. I'm not sure if America is even unified at all. Yeah, I mean, because of what you said. Yeah, I mean, but like when it comes to like issues of I guess unity, unity in what sense do you mean? Like viewing everyone, like viewing all of us as American? Because like that's an issue now. You know what I'm saying? Because like, for example, look at what happened when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. People didn't want to help. And then when Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, it was all, you know, let's help our fellow Americans. Like a lot of people are protesting the NFL game because an American, Bad Bunny, is performing just because he's from Puerto Rico. We have issues with unity now. So
I get what you're saying. And that's like Well, I guess I gotta ask you another question. Do you believe? Are you more national, like the national government, like federal government, or are you more pro states' rights? Because I'm more pro states' rights.
I'm the reason why I'm not pro states' rights is because we saw what happened the last time. There was pro states' rights. They had slavery.
Yeah, but that was like so long ago, and like the country's changed so much.
I 100%
You're acting
believe
like-
that if we go back to more states' rights, they'll bring it back, especially Jim Crow.
I can't agree with you at all. Like, are you talking? Which states are you talking about? Are you talking like? Are you talking like Florida, Texas?
The southern states
Oklahoma?
will bring back redlining and Jim Crow if we go back to what we had before. The federal government.
No offense, that's
I
wild.
100% believe that they would literally go back to they would do, because in Mississippi. I'm sorry, Trill, I'm gonna get to you in a second. And I think it was Mississippi or Alabama. There was a town that
they're racist there.
Yeah, there was a town that voted for a black mayor, and the all-white city council literally locked him out in order for him to not do his job. They would bring back Jim Crow. Texas, especially. If you ever heard about Vidor, Texas, they will bring back Jim Crow. Louisiana will bring back.
Are you
Jim
talking
Crow.
about towns within these areas, or are you talking about the state as a whole? Because like
the state, because those states are all Republican led. They will bring back Jim Crow immediately. 100% think so.
I don't know, man. Like,
no, I know.
I'm a Southerner myself, and I've had no issues until I go to Alabama or Mississippi.
Which state?
Me, Oklahoma.
They're gonna bring back Jim Crow in Oklahoma, bro.
Repeat what you said.
They'll go back to Jim Crow in Oklahoma.
Nah.
Yes.
Have you been to Oklahoma?
I've
heard pretty chill here.
I've heard enough about it. They'll bring it back.
What'd you hear? I'm just curious because I need to understand where you're getting these opinions from. You know.
Not nice thing, especially in that panhandle.
Oh, the panhandles. Those people are weird. Like, they're really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, and
they're Bigfoot people.
Every county in Oklahoma voted for Trump, who is like an outright racist. So
I guess that's like a fundamental disagreement between me and you. I don't think he's a racist. But that would be getting into the weeds.
Calling African and Caribbean nations shithole countries and saying Somalis are garbage isn't racist?
I wouldn't say it's racist if like the countries he's talking about are like pretty bad. Like, would you admit that like Liberia and a lot of the West Coastern African countries are pretty bad states? Like, objectively,
they're in pretty bad states, but calling them shithole countries and saying that Somalis are garbage and saying that, because here's the thing, we know dog whistles when we hear it, bro. That's the thing. Like you, I know as a first generationer, you may not know, but we know dog whistles when we hear it. You know what I'm saying? They say things without saying things, basically. You know what a dog whistle is, right?
I know what a dog whistle is. Yeah, I'm not uneducated. I think I'm pretty educated.
Right, myself. Right. So that's what I'm saying. These are dog whistles. And he's
I don't know. I feel like
and the thing is
I feel like he'd say the same.
He already dropped the mask when he said that Haitians are eating dogs and cats in Ohio. Something that was obviously not true. But the reason why people wanted to believe it was true, if you said a whole bunch of Germans were eating dogs in Ohio, do you really think they will believe that?
No, but if they said that the Germans were starting to believe in what's his name, you know the guy, I believe that, you know.
Right. But I'm talking about something as we know in the West is not accepted, such as eating cats and dogs. You really think that if they said that about a white ethnic group, people will believe that, or they will say you're spreading conspiracy theories? Why was it when it was a black ethnic group they believed it?
I'd say the reason they believed it when it came from a black ethnic group because of where the people are from and the cultural differences there. Because I can say from where I'm from, they did eat cats and dogs. Like it's an objective fact in Liberia they do it. It's because they're starving. It's not because they want to eat them. But
right. But you see how you put in that context? It's because they're starving. Yeah. During times of famine, people are going to eat what they got to eat. Right. If we're in a famine, yeah, you see a cat walking by, you're probably going to eat it. If you're in a famine, but I'm talking about regular Liberian cuisine. Is cats part of it?
No, but monkeys are.
Right, but we're talking about we're talking about, but
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. So this is
And
what
I'm kind of dodging. I get that.
right, but this is what I'm talking about, right? When
Mhm.
when they say that Haitians are eating cats and dogs, that came from a racist stereotypes of Haitians being cannibals or just eating whatever comes out the road. That's where that came from.
I feel like neither of us are really going to change our point on whether Trump's a racist or not. So I guess, do you want to go back to my economic views, or do you want to keep on going down this?
I want to ask one last question. Would you say that denying black people apartments in New York City, denying people apartments is a racist thing, specifically black people?
Did you add context on why that happened?
Yeah,
was there a reason, or was it just because they were black?
Just because they were black. Remember, the federal government investigated him for this, and they found that even the black applicants who qualified for those apartments were denied, and there was a big C for them. And witnesses said that you put that C to mean colored.
Yeah, then I disagree. I think that's a bit racist right there.
Right, that's what
I think he should get fined for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like nothing against you. I'm talking to a commenter. I'm not really a Trumper. I don't really like him. I think that he's better than the alternative because I didn't really like Kamala at all. For me, if Trump is guilty of the crimes they say he is, I think they should arrest him, if not execute him. That's my opinion when it comes down to politicians who break the law. I think they should be held to a higher standard.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and we can go ahead and talk about
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Troll. I'm sorry.
That's like a huge jet plane sized hole in his logic group, and it's like, okay, earlier in the conversation he was talking about, like basically white people in the South being racist. Like, no, they're not racist anymore. And then basically based on your experiences, right? But then
Trill, pause for me for a second, Trill.
I'm sorry.
Call from
JC.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, JC, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, can everybody hear JC?
Yep,
I can hear him.
Huh?
All right, great. JC, hold on for me real quick. Let me let Trill finish what he was saying. I'm gonna get back to you. JC, did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Hold for me. I'll get back to you. Go ahead, Trill.
And just finish. So like, okay, so like you didn't believe white people were still racist in like Oklahoma and all these other southern states or former Confederate states, but then
I don't think Oklahoma.
You asked him about Germans, right? Like, if you asked like, yeah, but like, if I don't know, something about like Germans, believe, yeah, you were saying like,
yeah, if they were with the mustache man, then I would think I'd lean toward that thinking.
So like, I'm trying to understand how it's believable for German people to revert back to, that ism, right? But it's unfathomable for you to believe that white people in the South are still racist. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
The reason I think that, because really, like, in most of the southern states I've been in, there I haven't had any negative experiences. Nobody treated me negatively. Like, in my own experiences, most southern people are just pretty much people just want to be left alone.
So what are your
now? If you try to force your
Germans,
my thing with German is really not. It's not the average German. It's just the growing, I guess, revival of that movement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! Okay, so at this point, you gotta be trolling at this point. So like, so you see the resurgence of authoritarianism in Germany. Is that correct?
Not in Germany, but just kind of like in the surrounding generation.
Of Germans, of German Americans.
Not German Americans, Germans.
All right, so you're
it's
saying
not like your average German.
Everybody pause. So you're saying in Western Europe there's a rise of fascism. So if a group of Germans were said to be neo-Nazis, you would believe that because there's a rise of fascism over in Western Europe. Is that right?
I don't think a rise of fascism. I think a rise of anti-Semitism, and then a rise of generally anti-minority views.
So
mostly because of like how many people.
So fascism.
No. Do you think disliking minorities is fascism?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. If I
feel like you could be racist and then not be a fascist.
No, it's fascism. Racism is fascism.
You don't separate them.
No. Fascism has to have racism. It's necessary for fascism to have racism.
And regardless, I just find it crazy you can see it in Europe, but you can't see it in America. It's like you're in America, and it's like and also just another thing I want to say before this is that you seem to be very ignorant of just American history in general. Like
I think I'm pretty well versed in it. Like I know,
because like there's things that he said that is like there's common knowledge to anybody who's lived in America, like for any amount of time. Really, people just know. Oh, you in the South? Like there's certain parts of the South you go in. Like when you're in the city, you're talking about blue areas, right? If you go to like a blue area and Florida, right? Yeah, you're going to have a good time. You're less likely. I ain't saying it's impossible, but you're less likely to see some racist happen. If you go into like the rural parts of Florida, I'm pretty sure mostly. I've never been to the rural parts of Florida. I would never go. I'm pretty sure you'll see some stuff like, okay, I don't feel too comfortable, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe
around
not
in the South.
around 2009, right after Obama won, it was very hard to be around Lakeland. I'll tell you that much. All right, so guys, can y'all all pause me for a second, because I do want to get to my caller on the line, and my mind has been here for a second. My mind, are you still there? Still there, my mind? All right. So, what's his name? Sovereign Reader, I do appreciate you being up, but gotta go ahead and move on. We'll talk again.
Okay,
all right, I'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. See ya. I'll follow you real quick.
Yeah. See you. I'll be on tomorrow.
Have a good night.
You too. I'll be on tomorrow afternoon. All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, Trill, how's it going, Trill? Happy New Year. Let's talk to JC. JC, I do appreciate you being patient with me. Let's go ahead and have a conversation. You said you're over 18 and you did disagree with what I had on the board. Why did you disagree, and did you want to explain which policies am I talking about?
So I disagree. Mainly, one of the main policies is abortion. Because I believe that it's not morally correct to murder a child.
All right, cool. Now, because I'm on TikTok, I do have to ask you to use TikTok friendly language. I know it's gonna sound silly, but like it's because how this platform works. So instead of saying the M word, please say something like delete or unalive, things like that. I know it's gonna sound silly, but it's because of the platform. But when you say that when you think it's immoral to unalive a child, I agree. It is immoral to unalive a child, but abortions don't happen when they're children. Do you believe a fetus is the same thing? Is a fetus the same thing as like my 6-year-old nephew?
They're both human.
Okay. So
they have distinct DNA. They are human. They are alive.
Okay. I mean, this is not really giving me this is not really saying that they're the same as a child, because when it comes to abortions, right, I give moral consideration at about 21 to 22 weeks. That's around the time I give more consideration, because at that stage, that's when the brain has formed, the brainstem has formed. There's a conscious experience, so they're a person, that they have the conscious experience of being a person there, right? So I do agree with ending the conscious experience of somebody, right? Because that they can never get that back. It's an ultimate violation of their rights. That's when I give more consideration. Anytime before that, it's really up to the choice of the mother. And the thing is with me, I don't really get into the moral issue with abortion. I always get into like the pragmatics of it. If we want these things to decrease, let's say that you don't like abortions happening and you want them to decrease. Let's say I agree with you. I don't like that abortions have to happen and I want them to decrease. Why won't we put in policies that will cause that to decrease, instead of just making it illegal in the first place and chastising women who choose to have these for their own reasons?
Well, from my point of view, we already have laws against this. They're just not being applied equally.
What do you mean? Can you explain?
Laws that already apply against unaliving.
Yeah, we have laws against unaliving people, but we give like considerations on when it happens, right? Like if I'm defending myself, or if I had no choice, or if I'm unplugging grandma from the machine, we give considerations when we're unaliving people, right? So this is just one of those considerations. We don't give consideration until viability, which is around 21 to 22 weeks.
Well, if you have like a 90-year-old man can't take care of himself at all, he's not really viable to stay alive. I still believe that unaliving him would be wrong.
If he's not viable, then that means that he's on a machine, and the machines are keeping him alive, right?
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, it's up to the family if that they want him to pass away, or to take him off the machines and just end it all. Because at that point, if there's no brain activity, they're gone, right?
Well, my scenario, I wasn't really saying no brain activity. I was more saying like he's hooked up to like a breathing machine.
Oh, but he's just in a coma, but there is brain activity. He can still be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, it's really up to the family, right? If there's brain activity there, but once there's no brain activity, you're legally gone. You're alive. You're done. Yeah, I mean, but if he's on a breathing machine, there's brain activity, but something happened to his heart, I think most people will be like, oh no, just don't take him out. Of course, most people will say that. Even doctors will be like, what are you doing? We're not gonna do that. Yeah, I mean, they'll go against what you say. But like, if there's no brain activity at all, the person's gone. That's usually what we mean. Like, and that's why I say that's when I start to give more consideration around 21, 22 weeks, because then there's brain activity, then there's a person there, then there's an actual conscious experience. Before that, I really leave that up to the mother. I don't really give it more consideration. They can give it more consideration all they want. Like, I'm fine with that, right? My sister's currently pregnant right now, and she's at, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. Like, she's giving it more consideration. That's fine. You can give it more consideration. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not really what I'm trying to say is that they what should happen is that if we want the incidence of abortions to decrease, let's put in policies for that to happen, right? Instead of making it completely illegal and taking away the right of the mother to do with her own body. What was disagreeable about that?
Sorry, I zoned out a little bit.
No problem.
Yeah, putting in more policies in place would be good. I believe in a total ban of it, completely abolishing the act.
Okay.
Making it.
Okay, if we're gonna ban abortions, are we gonna get 13-year-old kids, 13-year-old boys vasectomies when they start to be hit puberty?
No.
Why not? If we're gonna control one body, why not control the other?
Because I'm not controlling one body.
You are. Once you ban abortions, you're controlling what a woman can do with her own body. If we're gonna do that, we might as well give 13-year-olds vasectomies, right, to control their bodies.
It's not the woman's body though that she's controlling.
No, it is. It's her body.
No, it's a fetus.
Right. So ending the pregnancy is what she wants to do with her body, because pregnancy is happening to her.
She's also violating the bodily autonomy of another human.
No, she's not violating their autonomy. They're violating her autonomy because she no longer wants that piece there. If she no longer wants the embryo, the zygote, the fetus, if she no longer wants it there, then that that embryo, that fetus, that zygote, whatever at whatever point it is violating her autonomy because she no longer wants it there. She's revoking her consent for that fetus to be there, or for that zygote to be there, or for that embryo to be there. She's revoking her consent, which she can do, right?
Well, also, in most abortion cases, the person consented to have, I'm not going to say it because...
Fun time. They consent to have fun time, correct. But consent to have fun time is not consent to pregnancy. Just like consent to, take a shot of Hennessy is not consent for me to, get hit by a drunk driver.
Well, that's not really the same situation. This is an act, assuming both of these people have been educated on this topic. They both know this is a risk, and they're doing this action with this risk known.
Right. Just like how me going out tonight, like if I step out my house, it's a risk I'll get hit by a truck. Does that mean I consent to get hit by a truck?
Oh, the risk is a lot lower.
Not really. I live in a city, so the risk is for me to get hit by a truck is pretty high. But I do get what you mean. I don't want to be unfair. I don't want to be disingenuous. I do get what you mean, right? But like the thing is, it's still a risk. If I'm going out tonight and I walk on the street, there's a pretty good chance I could still get hit by a truck, especially considering where I live. Just like, if you have fun time, there's a risk you could get pregnant if you're not careful. But the risk is not zero, even if you are careful, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But like you going on the street, you have sidewalks and crosswalks to prevent getting hit. Just like with fun time, there's birth control and balloons.
To not have it happen, but it's not zero. Just like how walking on the sidewalk, I could still get hit. You know what I mean? Because person could be drunk. So this is what I mean. If we just take risk into consideration, like I get what you mean, right? There's risk if you have fun time, even if you are careful, you can end up pregnant. But just like, there's a risk if I walk outside, I could still get hit by a truck, even if I walk on the sidewalk, even doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You see what I'm saying? So there's a risk in all these things. That's why I don't really take, because there was a risk, you consented to have it happen. I don't really agree with that, because it's like, if we're gonna go with that, if you go to the beach today, did you consent to drown? No. I mean, that'll be kind of silly.
Yeah. But I'm a Christian, so I believe all humans are made in God's image. Every human has the right to life. Even if we're not being religious, the things this country were built upon, the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with that, right? Like, I'm not a believer. I'm an atheist, so it's like I don't think there really is a God out there. But if that's what you choose to believe and you think all life is precious, that's fine. I'm not gonna say that you're not supposed to believe or anything like that. You're raised the way that you're raised, like, and you could believe that. But at the end of the day, if you and your wife and your family believes that, right, then that's cool. But that, I don't think that belief should be beholden to all of society, because not everybody believes what you believe. There's even a lot of Christians who don't really believe the way you believe when it comes to abortion. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, we can't make that the standpoint of all of our society. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But was there any other policy that you disagree with when it comes to the left?
Transgenderism.
Transgenderism.
Like allowing men in women's spaces.
Allowing men in women's spaces. What do you mean? Like when what do you mean?
Like sports, bathrooms, locker rooms, all that kind of stuff.
All right, cool. So when it comes to transgender issues, right? Honestly, I'm not very well versed in it. You should probably talk to someone who's probably more well versed in it. But with me, I'm kind of libertarian on it. I'm a live and let live person. Of course, we're all concerned about safety. But what I will always say is that people who are transgender, they exist, right? This is not something that they're just pretending, or they have some sort of mental health problem. They exist. They're transgender. This is how they identify. Shouldn't we as a society attempt to not just accommodate but accept these people as much as possible in order for them to live happy and healthy lives?
Well, I believe they do have a mental issue.
Mm-hmm.
Gender dysphoria is a recognized mental issue.
Yeah, gender dysphoria, but you can be non-trans and have gender dysphoria. Like for example, I had gender dysphoria for a while. Well, I'm kind of self-diagnosing, but I know I had gender dysphoria for a while because I didn't like my height. Because all my entire life, people telling me being short, I'm less of a man, right? So I kind of had gender dysphoria because I had issues with my height. You see what I'm saying? So you can be non-trans and still have gender dysphoria, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
I just believe that when people have that and they're getting pandered to, like people are feeding, like all these situations where it's like a 4-year-old kid and they like say, I'm a girl one day, and their parents are just like, yeah, you're a girl, and just feed the issue. Because like little kids play pretend all the time, and it's just getting like ingrained into their brain. They're basically just indoctrinating the child.
Right. So when it comes to that, right? Yeah, sure. Children pretend, but if a child, let's call him Timmy, goes to his parents and say, I'm not Timmy, I'm Samantha. Yeah, sure. In one day, maybe even 1 day and a half, he's gonna be like, I'm Samantha, and the next day he's gonna say, now I'm Batman. Sure, that's going to happen, right? Because kids like to pretend. But if he says on Monday, I'm Samantha, on Tuesday, I'm Samantha, in a month, I'm Samantha, in 3 months, I'm Samantha, that's more than him or her just pretending, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So when it comes to children who are transgender, people just don't say, oh, okay, whatever, live and let live. They actually go to psychiatrists, to psychologists, to therapists, and they talk about it. They see where if they're just pretending or if this is an actual thing. Now, children are very bad liars. They're not just gonna say I'm Samantha for 6 months in a row. It's gonna be more than that. And for everything that we've seen, all the research that we've seen when it comes to brain scanning images, when it comes to psychological and psychiatric studies, being transgender is an actual disposition. It's not just something that they're pretending to do. It's not like a whole mental illness. Gender dysphoria is, a mental problem, but that can happen to anyone, not just trans people. So it's not really them just, pretending to be something else. I'm gonna ask you on one question though. All right, give me 1 second, JC. Hey, Trill, can you test the mic for me 1 second?
Okay, can I do what?
Can you say mic test 1 2 1 2 for me?
Mic test 1 2 1 2.
JC, did you hear Trill?
No.
He can't. They can't hear TikTok. I don't know why. They cannot hear TikTok. All right. Tahir, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
All right. JC, did you hear Tahir?
No.
Nah. Damn. They can't hear they can't hear TikTok. That sucks, man. I thought they would be able to hear it. Hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me take a look at something. Look at audio settings. Yeah, the audio settings are here, but they can't hear it. That sucks. Give me one. Let me take a look at this. All right, so here, say mic check for me real quick.
Mic check, mic check.
Nah, they can't hear it. They can hear he can hear me, but for some reason he can't hear y'all. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Sorry about that, guys. I know we want to have a back and forth conversation with him, but he can hear me, but he can't hear y'all. I'm gonna have to figure out why that is, and if I can get that fixed. I do have people on my TikTok, JC, who want to speak with you, but unfortunately, you can't hear them, so it wouldn't be able to be a back and forth conversation, unfortunately. But
honestly, though, you were killing it. I was like, I had some of these points that I kind of wanted to press, and you were hitting them. So I'm like, all right, then, we'll see. You got this.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Yeah. Sorry, she was just talking to me real quick. Yeah. It's unfortunate that you can't hear them, but we can go ahead and keep it rolling. But yeah, when it comes to a transgender issue, I hope you know I hope you see where I'm coming from. Where I think we should build our society more for them to have healthy and happy lives and accept them for who they are, than just putting them on the outskirts of society and calling them perverts and stuff like that.
Which, one of the big things for me is like when they're in like women's sports.
Mhm.
Like when a biological man is participating in women's sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. Well, here's one thing. But man is more of a socially constructed thing. So you think about like a male, right? Like a male participating in female sports. Yeah. When it's excuse me. Sorry about that. When those are concerns, right? And I don't think anybody denies that this can be a concern, because on average, males are stronger than females. That's just on average, right? However, when it comes to because number one, I think this should be decided by the sports medicine people, by people who research sports and things like that. Those are the people who should be deciding this. But as far as the information that we have, we don't have a lot of it. We still have a little bit of information, but from the little information that we have, we see that when a transgender person going from male to female, when they take as much, when they do the hormone therapies, when they're trying to do their transition, the rates of that equal out. And a good example of this is Leah Thomas, the one who was the swimmer who basically caused all this issue. She got in 5th place in the competition that she was in. So that means that what you would call natural born women actually beat her. You see what I'm saying? So her being born male didn't change anything, because she went through the hormone therapy, she went through all the transitions, and it equaled out to the point where people who are what we will say natural born beat her. You see what I'm saying? And they have been beating her. Like, she's not the number one swimmer out there right now. She's like number 150 or something like that. The number one swimmer is a cisgender woman, a woman who's naturally born, as much as far as you would say. You see what I'm saying? So it's from the information that we have, transgender women are not just gonna take over all the sports. You see what I'm saying? Like all of the news headlines you see of, a man pretended to be a woman and beat everybody and hit the records and all of those stuff. All those are a lot of those are sensationalized. It's usually not what happened in real life. You feel me?
Well, specifically with people like Leah Thomas, he has multiple women's swimming records. He's broken multiple records.
So if that's the case, why isn't Leah Thomas the number one swimmer? Why is it a cisgender woman?
Some women are above the standards of men.
Right. So, but the thing is, if Leah Thomas broke all these records, et cetera, wouldn't Leah Thomas be one of the top swimmers in the country? They're not. Like, Leah Thomas is
It
not.
doesn't change the fact that they did break multiple records.
I'm doubting that, because if they broke multiple records, they'll be one of the top swimmers in the country, and Leah Thomas is not. Matter of fact, hold on. We don't even have to go back and forth. Give me a second. Okay. All right, so let's see. Leah Thomas broke several University of Pennsylvania and Ivy League swimming records in freestyle events, but she did not break any NCAA or national records at the 2022 NCAA championships, where she won the 500-yard freestyle title. Her NCAA win made history as the first D1 title by an openly transgender athlete, but her times were significantly slower than existing national records, notably Katie Ledecky's 500 freestyle record. So yeah, she broke some Penn State records, but not anything national or NCAA. Like she's still way below them.
There's also the thing of many people from the Penn State or University of Pennsylvania. Many biological women from that team have stated that they felt very uncomfortable having him in their locker rooms.
Understandable. I'm also uncomfortable having women in my locker room. Like I get it. Like it's a stranger in a locker room, so they're uncomfortable because like Leah Thomas still has like the ding-a-lang. Is that the issue?
Yeah, that's the main issue that most of these people have.
Yeah, sure. Like I get it. They're gonna be uncomfortable. Like a lot of people used to be uncomfortable with me being in a locker room with a white person. So like there's not really a lot we can do about it.
Yeah, but I still think like it's not really there. There's also the case of, I can't remember the name. It was like, I think it was some sort of weightlifting competition, and a man
pretended to be a woman. And yeah, I heard about that as well. Like yeah, these like for here's what I would say. People do have to be careful, right? Like I shouldn't be able to just go to a track meet and say identify as a woman now and run against the females there, right? Like that's, of course, that would be unfair because they don't know if I'm telling the truth. You have to be careful about that. So I think everybody agrees with that, right? I'll just always say this is something that has to be up to the sports field, the sports not field. Yeah, field. It has to be within that field. Sports medicine, sports anatomy, things like that. It has to be up to that field for them to decide how to deal with this. And of course, I agree that people should be careful. No Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street should say, I identify as a woman now, put me in your shot put competition and beat out all the females there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sure. Like I could agree with that. But if they go through all the trials and tribulations, and if they the sports basically Congress decides that yeah, transgender females can compete against cisgender females and it be fair, like this should be decided by the sciences, right? Like why would we debate about it? Like I don't know sports medicine. Do you know sports medicine?
I'm not versed in sports medicine very well. No.
Right. So none of us know about it. So let's let the people who know sports medicine decide on how to handle this. That sound fair?
Yeah, I just know men are naturally stronger than women. There's other reasons Leah Thomas could have lost those things. He's 6'1", and which is tall.
Yeah, bro. Angel Reese is 6'3", so it's like yeah, there's tall women out there.
Well, but the average height for a female is like 5'2", I think.
Yeah, that's the average height. Yeah, there are tall women out there, bro. Like, hold on. Someone in my TikTok had a question for you. Go ahead, Trill. What was your question?
My question is, does he is what is his stance on I'm sorry, I'm sorry, on regulations? Because it sounds like basically he wants regulations on private organizations used as conservative policy or idea. So I want to know, like, basically, like, is he okay with regulations in general for private organizations? I guess.
Gotcha.
Or what
All
his
right.
stance is. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. All right. So, JC, what Trill wanted to ask you is what your stance is on regulations, because when it comes to this transgender issue, you seem to want to have regulations over that. But how about regulations on anything else when it comes to environment, financials, things like that? Are you comfortable with regulations on those companies and institutions as well when it comes to those issues?
Like, just in general?
Yes, in general.
If a regulation is beneficial for a company, they should be allowed to do it.
All right. So when I'm talking about with regulations, I mean stuff like, for example, you know how rivers used to set on fire because companies were dumping toxic waste into the river, right? Now we have a regulation that they can't do that, or they'll get fined, or even possibly face some jail time when they caught somebody doing it. So those are regulations that cut into their profits, but it protects people. Are you comfortable with those other regulations?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you also want like the sports world to also have regulations against transgender people, for them to like not play, like for example the WNBA shouldn't take any transgender women. Those transgender women should go to the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna work out, because again, when, as far as the information we have now, transgender athletes, female to male, transgender women athletes, female to male, they're on par with the female athletes who are not transgender. Now we do have it is limited. I'll give you that, right? It's limited studies, but shouldn't we be exploring more research, more studies to see exactly how this phenomenon works out instead of trying to limit it?
Sure. I guess we should do more studies.
Yeah. Let's do more research, because right now that's what the research is telling us. So, but as far as them existing as a transgender person, you don't think that we should accept them either?
Yeah, I believe it's delusion.
Right. But all psychological and psychiatric research show that this is not a delusion. Do you think we should do more research to see if it is? Because we've actually have like a long history of transgender people existing, even from the Middle Ages. So it's like we have evidence of them existing, right? So, like for example, the Native Americans used to call them two-spirited people. Over in India, there's also, I forgot what the word they use over in India for it, but transgender people exist there as well. So this has always been kind of a thing, right? So we know transgenderism has existed throughout human society, so it does exist. Do you think like this phenomena is just them being delusional, like schizophrenia? Because schizophrenia has also existed throughout all of human history, but we know that it's harmful because of the delusions that they face. But as far as transgender people know, they're just incongruent with the sex they were born in. So do you think that's going to cause harm to society when it's always been part of society? They're not going to hurt anybody. So,
well, most of the ancient examples, that a lot of the examples people use, those people didn't actually identify as a separate gender.
Like live as women. Yeah, the ones that I'm talking about in India, they were like Indian eunuchs. They actually did identify as women. Yeah, I mean, now a lot of those eunuchs didn't actually, get it cut off. That didn't happen in those eunuchs, but they did actually live as women, identify as women. That was a thing. They did it.
Well, you also have situations in like the Middle East where kings would have concubines who were biologically male.
Right. That is something that happened, and some of them lived as women. Like this, like what I'm trying to say is that being transgender has existed throughout all of human history, right? We have records of this in ancient times, and they lived as the gender that they identified with. You know what I mean? So this has been a thing within history. So if there's been a thing within history, it's not something like schizophrenia where they have potential to harm themselves or others. So why would we call it a delusion or try to basically, like, I guess, minimize it? I don't know, because when we don't accept them, they tend to self-harm, right? And we don't want people to harm themselves.
Well, actually, there's data that suggests more people off themselves after getting like the surgeries and stuff.
There's no studies that show that.
There's many Sweden has been doing this a lot longer than the US has, and they have many studies showing that the suicide rate or offing themselves rate goes up after being affirmed.
No, what those Swedish studies show is that the offing themselves like mentality rate, it goes up when people don't accept them. When they affirm themselves and then the people around them don't accept them, that's when that's when it goes up. But if the people around them do accept them, the mentality goes down. Now, these are like limited studies, right? We don't have a lot. We should be researching this a lot more. But what's going on in America is that we just don't want it to be researched at all, which is a mistake, in my opinion. Would you agree that we should at least be researching this more instead of researching it less?
Sorry, I was getting data real quick. What did you say?
Yeah, I was saying shouldn't be researching this more than less, because as far as I know with that Swedish study, and like again, these are not a lot that we have. With that Swedish study, it showed that when people don't accept them after they affirm themselves, that's when the mindset of offering themselves goes up. But if they do get a community who accepts them, then it tends to go down. You see what I'm saying? So, but there's not a lot of research that we have. So doesn't that mean we should be researching it more instead of just trying to push it out of society?
We should study it more.
Right.
But
right. My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm on a website right now. No, there is no evidence suggesting that gender affirming surgeries improve mental health.
All right, what do I look up?
The fewer mental services were utilized by patients with the. Sorry, I'm just reading out loud.
Yeah, what do I actually look up?
This is on the Society for Evidence-Based Gender Medicine, and the title of the article is sorry.
Oh, the Society for Evidence-Based Gender Medicine. That's an anti-trans organization, bro. Shouldn't you we actually look for look what the study says, like a non-biased source, because this is a objectively anti-trans organization. So we should look for something that's unbiased, right?
What is your source suggesting that?
What they've actually said, they're known for like misinformation. Like there's multiple articles and news stories about them being known for misinformation. Like the first thing when you look them up, the first thing that you find is that they're an anti-trans organization.
What's the source saying that though?
Let's see. There's the Journal of Science-Based Medicine, Social Science and Medicine. Let's see, the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center actually looks up bigoted organizations. And there's the Journal of Law and Medicine. They've all pointed out that they've put out like transgender health information, misinformation. They're an anti-trans organization. So we should kind of look for an unbiased source.
The journals.plos.org, which is a scientific journal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
right. What's the name of it?
Appears to be the original study.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Long-term follow-up of transsexual persons undergoing sex reassignment surgery, cohort study in Sweden.
Okay. Yeah. So basically the Swedish study.
Yes. Which Sweden is more likely to have reliable studies because they have transitioned people more than the United States has in earlier.
Okay, cool.
Than the United States started.
All right, cool. Give me a second. All right, and this is the one that was published in February 22nd, 2011.
It's your wallet.
So the one I'm on, the journal that's showing mine, oh wait, I see it now. Yes. Mm-hmm. It says published February 22nd, 2011.
Yeah. So when like this is a long thing, right? And we should read it because I do see what you're saying in the conclusions. They're saying people who are transgender after reassignment have higher risk of mortality, suicidal behavior, things like that than the general population. So yeah, I do get what you're saying there, but when we actually read the study, do they go into why that happens? Because the author of the study, Dr. Dinjay, she said this, right? There's a quote from her. She said, "People who misuse the study always omit the fact that the study clearly states that it is not an evaluation of gender dysphoria treatment. If we look at the literature, we find that several recent studies conclude that standards of care compliant with treatment decrease gender dysphoria and improve mental health." So she's not really saying like we got to find out why they're saying what they're saying. Like, what does the study actually say? Is it just them getting reassigned themselves, or is it about the community that they're part of, things like that?
But when you look at the conclusions of it says persons with transsexualism after sex reassignment have considerably higher risk of mortality, offing themselves behavior, or psychiatric morbidity than the general population. Our findings suggest that sex reassignment, although alleviating gender dysphoria, does not suffice as a treatment for transsexuality.
Right. You have to have more. It's not just sexual reassignment surgery. So they're not saying that after all of them get reassigned, they're gonna have higher rates and that's it, right? They're saying gender affirming care, sex reassignment surgery is not the only thing that you need. You need more.
Well, there's also what I've seen. There's cases of the doctors trying, and these are younger kids. The doctors are like, if you do not, to the parents, if you do not do this, your child will die.
Ain't no doctor saying that, bro.
Well, not. They're saying like they have a high risk of offing themselves. There
If they
are
don't get surgery immediately.
Well, this isn't for the surgery. These are minors. Usually, it's just the like hormone blockers.
Yeah, gender affirming care. Now, the thing is, when it comes to that, right, they're always going to go through some sort of psychiatric evaluation before that happens. They're not going to just toss it out to them, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. All right, JC, we've been on for at least 30 minutes now, and I do really appreciate you, but I gotta go ahead and move on. But call in any time, and we'll talk more. All right.
Okay.
I appreciate you, JC. Have a good night. All right, guys. I'm gonna figure out how we can have TikTok and the phone calls listen to each other, because it sucks that they can hear y'all. I mean, that y'all can hear them, but they can't hear y'all. That sucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out a way how we can do that, get it back and forth. But we are at about the 2-hour mark, and I gotta. Oh, okay, we got another call. I want to get to skeptical.
Call from
Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, how you doing? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm 19. So yeah.
All right, great. Give me 1 second. Hey, this over on TikTok. All right, just give me 1 second, Jordan. Skeptical Spider-Man, you there? Spider-Man, you still there? All right. So how's it going, Jordan? You said you're over 18, and did you disagree with what I had on the board?
Yeah, but I'm not affiliated with any party. I'm independent, but I would say I don't think leftist policies are better for society. I do disagree.
All right, sure. Did you want me to explain which leftist policies I'm talking about, and then we can see if those are better for society or not?
Well, can I tell you one policy I really disagree with?
Sure.
That for I think forever now leftists have pushed. That would be abortion.
All right. What about
legalizing abortion up to 21 weeks, or I think higher, possibly.
Yeah, sure. Well, what will be the issue? Because when it comes to abortion, right? I think a woman should have a right to her own body. We should promote bodily autonomy as much as possible.
It's not her body, though. Scientifically, it's not her body, though. It's separate and unique DNA at the moment of conception, so it's not her body, and she shouldn't have the right to choose for that separate DNA.
Why not? If she doesn't consent to that DNA being part of her body, why can't she do that?
Yes, she does. She had sex.
That doesn't mean that she consented to being pregnant.
Yes, she did. That's what sex is.
If I walk outside, do I consent to be hit by? Hold on, Jordan, stop, Jordan. There's a conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a conversation. So Jordan, if I walk outside, Jordan, if I walk outside, do I consent to being hit by a truck?
Go again.
If I walk outside, do I consent to being hit by a truck?
Do you consent by? Well, what's the? No, I would say no. Depends on the situation. But.
Right. If I didn't consent to be hit by a truck, but if I walk outside on the sidewalk, I possibly can be hit by a truck still, right? Just if someone drives recklessly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. So it's the same thing with sex. Just because they have fun time doesn't mean they consent to be pregnant, no matter what happens.
Oh, that's not true. Sex is a part of that.
Yeah, we know that if you have SEX, we all know if you have SEX, it's a possibility for you to get pregnant. We all know that. But
and also, yeah.
But
go ahead. Sorry.
But that doesn't mean that if it happens, that means you necessarily have to go through with it. You can revoke that consent anytime.
Well, okay. Well, let's talk about it. That's where I disagree. But first of all, I just want to say, even with condoms and protections, that's only an 80% success rate. Mm-hmm. So when both partners are having sex, they should know that there's a 20% chance that she could get pregnant, that anything could go wrong. So they should, see those chances. They should expect the unexpected. They know what they're doing. But anyways, you say that, she has the right to, end that pregnancy, and whatever.
Yes.
That fetus. But I don't think so. I don't think she has the right. I don't think it's justified to kill an innocent human being just because, oopsie, I had fun time, oopsie.
You think a zygote is a human?
A fetus, yes, it is a human because at the moment of conception, even biologists say, life begins at conception.
I know that it's alive, but so are cockroaches.
When conception happens, cockroaches aren't humans. That's a stupid, example.
But you said they're alive. Like it doesn't matter if it's human or not.
But we're human.
I understand that we're humans. I understand that we're humans. I understand that we're humans. Jordan, chill. I'm not comparing humans to cockroaches. I'm comparing life to life because you said it's alive, right? Like being alive. Hold on, wait, listen, hold on, bro. Let me finish. Let me finish. You want me to be? I understand. Let me finish. I understand that they're humans, right? But your argument was that it's alive. We know cockroaches are alive, right? So it being alive is not the point. Your entire point is it being human. I understand that it's human, but the reason why I don't give it more consideration until about 21 to 22 weeks is because there's no conscious experience yet. When there's a conscious experience, that's when I give it more consideration. That part matters to me. That the reason why that matters to me is because you would not call it murder if my grandmother is brain dead and I unplugged the machine. You wouldn't call that murder, would you?
I heard this argument a lot. It's pretty
It's yes or no, bro?
Let me think. I'm thinking because that's a good argument. A grandmother who's brain dead, correct?
Right. If she's brain dead, there's no brain activity, and I unplugged the machine, you wouldn't call that murder.
Trying to think. Yeah, but I would say there's a big difference between a fetus and that.
Right. So the brain activity in a fetus happens around 21, 22 weeks, which is why at that point, if abortion does happen,
the brain develops at 6 weeks. The brain develops at 6 weeks.
Right. But the brain starts to develop at 6 weeks, but there's no really activity there. There's no conscious experience. That doesn't happen until around 21 to 22. So at that point, that's when I give it more consideration. And I said, if an abortion does happen, it should either be because the mother's life is in danger, or we should prioritize trying to keep the fetus alive, which happens around 22 weeks. You can typically keep it alive. Even at 21, you can probably typically keep it alive. Sometimes there's a lower chance, but sometimes at 22, you can definitely keep it alive. So if she wants to have an abortion, go ahead and I can't really stop it, but you can have one that can keep the fetus alive, even though that's dangerous. I don't think that should happen, right? Because you're putting something else in danger. But that's around the time I give it more consideration. Before that, a zygote doesn't have human or any type of like interaction. There's nothing there. So it's just like how unplugging my brain dead grandma.
I'm trying to think of an argument. You said it's not like a human and stuff. Like it doesn't have any of that. I would say, I'm trying to think. I would say there's humans right now who are disabled. I don't think they have. I'm trying to think. I forgot what it's called. But that's besides the point. I don't want both partners. And I'm going to say both partners because it's both of their fault. I don't want them to get away. I don't want them to get away with what sex comes with. Sex comes with a price to pay. It comes with a consequence. Okay. And that is bearing a child. And I think it's wrong to kill that child. Because let me tell you something. When conception happens, your eye color is determined, your height is determined, your gender is determined. All these things are determined. And I mean, it's just your personal opinion. You don't see that as valuable. But to me, it's valuable. It's just common sense. That's where we all began, dude. You began there. I began there. We all started there, dude. That is valuable to me. That is valuable, man. And I think we lost, I forgot, when abortion became legal in the 1970s, we've lost 70 million children. Most of them are black. Not that matters, but those are a lot of black and brown kids who have freaking died, who have been murdered, who didn't have a chance to live on this earth. I see that as wrong, man. I mean, you have your opinion and I respect it. I mean, I respect that you just have opinions. You know, we live in a free country, but I see that as wrong, man.
All right, that's I mean that's all good and well. So if you don't want to have an abortion, you and your wife don't have one.
Well, no, if it was up to me, I would ban all abortion.
Right, and the reason why I wouldn't is because I'm gonna ask you this question: if we ban abortions tomorrow, should 15-year-old boys get vasectomies too?
Hey, what?
If we ban abortions tomorrow, would 15-year-old boys have to get vasectomies too?
I don't know if it's staticky. I can understand you.
Vasectomies. You know what vasectomies? You know what vasectomies are, right?
Can you remind me?
Vasectomies is when basically when they operate on a male and they tie up his tubes, so his baby juice isn't filled of the cells that create babies. I have to talk like that because of TikTok purposes.
I'm confused. Wait, maybe I have to do more research on that.
Yeah,
it would stop him from.
Yeah.
It
will stop him from producing.
Oh no, I wouldn't support that.
Right.
I wouldn't support that.
Right, exactly. But the issue is that you put in a law for one person to have their body controlled, but not the other person.
But we already have laws that kind of controls people, and like the draft, right?
We do have laws that can control you, but the state can't make you. The state can't control what you do with your own body all the way. Like, for example, we
disagree. We disagree though if that's her body or not. That's where we disagree. Which
yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's her body.
But the thing is, it is if this this zygote or hold on, let me finish. If this zygote or fetus or anything like that, if this zygote or fetus or what's the other thing? I forgot what the next step was called. But if it's or embryo, there we go. If it's feeding off her her body, why can't she revoke that consent in order for that thing to not feed off her body anymore? Why does she not? Why should she not have that right? That's what I'm talking about.
I don't see anything in my view. In according to science, I know we disagree. I don't see it. I don't see any way to justify killing a baby. The only exception, pause. The only exception I probably have for abortion, and it's a lose-lose situation for me, is if the mother's life is at risk. That would probably be the only exception. Yeah, that would be a lose-lose.
And for me, when it's at like 22 weeks and the mother's life is at risk, then yeah, let's prioritize the mother. You see what I'm saying? But and even then, I would say if we can keep the fetus alive, we can keep the fetus alive. But if we can't, and the mother's life is in danger, let's prioritize the mother. I also say instance of rape and incest, right? I would say in those instances.
Oh no, I disagree on that. But
so you would force an 11-year-old girl, an 11-year-old who got raped by her uncle to have that baby?
Well, I would see what the doctor says. If the doctor says she could proceed this procedure, like she could give birth and she won't die, I'd say, yeah, I'm not gonna kill an innocent life.
That's pretty sick, bro.
Hey, exactly. People think I'm radical for that, but I value life, man. I'm sorry, dude. I value life. If that makes me a radical. If that makes me a far right, then I guess.
I also value life, but I don't value all life. Even you don't value all life.
Oh no, sorry. Let me rephrase, because yeah, you're right. I messed up. I value innocent life. Sorry. Mm-hmm. My apologies.
No,
you're right. There's a lot of lives that I don't value, like rapists, killers. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Yeah, we wouldn't value their lives.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, I don't value that life at all. You see, we definitely agree there. Yeah, I don't value that life.
Yeah, okay, we agree. Wait. We agree. Israel's evil and they're genocidal freaks, right?
Right. We don't value those at all.
Okay, at least we agree there. That's what I like about liberals. Mm-hmm. Liberals, at least, they agree with me. I'm a traditional conservative. We agree that Israel is evil and they're genocidal freaks, ethnically cleansing the innocent Palestinians.
Right. So we agree there.
Okay.
But when it comes to this issue of abortion, when it comes to things like rape, incest, especially if it's a child like 11, 12 years old and they got raped by their cousin or uncle, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and side with the child there and say if they want to go ahead and end this pregnancy and not traumatize them more to have the baby of their rapist, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have them do that. But my position is,
I forgot to mention that. Why not put it up for adoption?
There is adoption, but our adoption industry sucks in America. So that's why I'm not big on adoption. I want to adopt one day, but our adoption and foster
good for you, man.
Our adoption and foster our foster program is completely garbage. But besides that, what I would say is that I understand how this is a hard issue. So what I want to do, which is why I say leftist policies are better for society, is because if we put in policies that will actually lower the rates of abortion, then everybody will be happier, right? Even if we keep it legal, they happen less because we put in policies that have them happen less. And those policies are usually robust sex education, more access to contraceptives, higher wages, things like that. Basically policies that increase education, increase the amount of spending income that people have, that decreases childcare costs, and then we would see a lower rates of abortion, because a lot of the times, or the reason why I see people get abortions is because over the lifetime of a child, they just can't afford it. You see what I'm saying? So they just go ahead and get the abortion, because the abortion is $300 rather than 18 years of maybe $60,000 to $70,000 that they don't know what's going to come from. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they have abortion. So if we put in policies that will lower the rates, everybody wins, right?
I don't know. But are you down for one more topic? Do you have time, or are you gonna move to the next person?
Yeah. We're at about 15 minutes. I usually get by 15, but we could go ahead and keep going. I'm gonna get off in a little bit after you. Go ahead.
We'll agree to disagree on abortion, but you made some good arguments. I respect that. But I'm trying to think of a topic. I was gonna mention immigration, but I feel like that's kind of boring. I don't know, because I'm for securing the border, and I'm for less immigration overall, actually. Like, I know that may sound crazy. I used to be like, deport the illegals, but now I'm like, let's not allow any more immigrants.
Why not?
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, why not? Because if an immigrant wants to come to America, experience the American dream, wants to contribute to our society, what's the issue?
The issue is a lot of immigrants don't align with our culture and our values in America. They don't speak English. They don't, they just don't speak English. They don't have the same values. They just, I don't see them. I don't see a benefit of them coming here.
What my parents are from Haiti, right? What values do you think, like, they don't speak English? That's my parents do speak English now because they've been here for like 40 years. But when it comes to new Haitian immigrants, what values do you think that they're not going to have in Haiti that would contradict the American values?
Like I said, language. I would say, I don't want to sound.
Can they learn English?
I was gonna say
they can learn English, right?
Yeah, I don't know too much about Haiti, but I don't know too much about Haiti. I don't know how they treat women, but I don't know, so I can't say anything. That'll be dishonest of me. But I'm trying to think, because my grandparents were immigrants. But the thing is, they came here legally, and they came here learning English, which is the right way, in the good way. That's why, yeah.
Okay. But when it comes to like how they treat women, one of the thing that I've always said is that even in America, a lot of women here would say that America doesn't know how to treat women. The feminist movement started here in America. You know what I mean? So I would say that there's a lot of arguments that even here in America, we don't treat women well. But I think the more of the concern would be, are they like abusive to their women? Even in cultures where abuse is kind of, for lack of a better word, allowed, even in those cultures, most of the married men are not abusing their women, right? So when it comes to things like that, most people don't abuse their women anyway. So what will we like? When we say the different cultures, the different values, we have to ask, like, what exactly do we mean here? Like, what do you think is going to be different between
also, I forgot to mention. Yeah, I forgot to mention. This may sound radical of me, but another reason why I don't want no more immigrants is because we need more white people in America. We need more Europeans. Why? And they're going down the slump. The birth rate is horrible, and that's on them, by the way. I like, that's on them. But we need more whites in America.
Why?
America is a white country. Is a European. Well,
no, it's not.
like the founding fathers were European descent,
So
and we should keep it that way.
why?
We should keep it that way. Why?
Why?
Because that's how they intended it. If they saw the country today, they wouldn't like it. They would be
So
fucking disturbed.
so
What do you mean so?
they own slaves. Who cares?
Okay.
Yeah, they own slaves.
Not all of them, by the way. Not all of them, but
not all of them, but many of our presidents did. Like I think our first 10 presidents owned slaves. Fuck what they say.
Oh no, that's not true. John Adams, he didn't own slaves.
John Adams.
Yeah, he didn't own slaves. I learned that in history back then.
Okay, yeah, John Adams didn't own slaves. Okay, so great for John Adams. But like, many of the founding fathers owned slaves. So who cares? Fuck what they think. I mean, yeah, sure. Like these are terrible ideologies to have. Like this country is only for white people. That's a terrible ideology to have.
No, not only for white people. It should be majority white. Because whites, because we need whites. We need Europeans. Europeans are the founding of this country.
So
I just think we need them.
No, we don't. What do you mean need them? What does that mean?
Europe is. What do you mean?
What do you mean we need them? What exactly does that mean? We need America to be white in order for it to function? That's kind of silly.
Listen, no offense. I may sound crazy, and I don't give a shit. It's 2026 now. Other races haven't built anything that's as good as the Europeans. I'm not saying all of them, but they haven't built anything that's close to the Europeans. Have been the conquerors like the Europeans have built most of the inventions. Not all of them, but inventions that we use today. Like the Europeans have.
Let me
all the philosophers.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Wait. Stop. Chill. All right. So
I'm not done.
I understand, Jason. I understand. The problem is
Jordan.
I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm sorry about that. All right, so Jordan.
No, you're good.
The problem is that you're looking at this from a very Eurocentric lens because that's mostly what you've been educated on. Did you know that tribes in Africa, there are kingdoms in Africa that had C-section before the Europeans and had surgery with anesthesia before Europeans got there? Did you know about that?
Yeah, but did the Africans create a car?
Wait, hold on, wait. Did you know? Wait, hold on, Jordan. Chill. Jordan, I need you to stop reacting and actually like kind of take in what I just said here.
Go ahead.
African kingdoms, they had surgery with anesthesia.
Kingdoms.
Hold on, listen,
what
bro.
Kingdom?
Bro, listen.
No offense, man, but what kingdoms?
Bro, can you wait for a second? Stop reacting to everything. Sorry. Actually, listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
There were civilizations in Africa that had anesthesia.
That is false. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but that's just false, man.
It's not.
That's false.
Can you do me a favor?
There's no.
Can you do me a favor? There were no civilizations. There were no civilizations except for Egypt. Hold on. Wait. Stop. You said, hold on. Stop. You said except for Egypt, right?
Yes.
What is Great Zimbabwe?
Go ahead.
What is Great Zimbabwe?
What is? I don't know if I can.
You don't know exactly. Hold on. Wait. I'm just gonna ask you. Hold on. Wait. Stop. I'm just gonna ask you a quick question. I'm just gonna ask you quick questions, Jordan. And if you don't know, just say I don't know. Okay. What was the Kush civilization? What was Kush?
I don't know.
What was Aksum?
Never heard, man.
What was Ashanti?
I don't know.
What was Mali? What was Nok? What was the Luba civilization? What was Congo?
It's gonna be like I got you.
No. It is I'm not being unfair. It isn't I got you because you said except for Egypt, Africa didn't have civilizations, and I just named you 7. So this actually proves my hold on. This proves my point. Everything that you're saying, everything that you're claiming, comes from a Eurocentric lens because you don't know about it because you're only taught about Europe. That's the problem. It's not that these things didn't exist, is that you don't know about it because you never taught about it.
To talk about
when I say there is something to talk about, because at the end of the day, I just told you that the Nok civilization had writing outside of Egypt and outside of Europe. They also had technology to do surgeries without anesthesia before Europe. We know about this because when European explorers actually went into Central Africa, they described them having surgeries and C-section. And not only that, not just surgeries and C-section. I forgot what else I was going to say, but they had surgeries and C-sections and astronomy all without Europe. Oh yeah. And even inoculation, like the idea to inoculate yourself, from like where vaccines came from.
Came from Africa,
Hold on, listen.
I'm sorry, man.
Listen. The idea to inoculate yourself actually came from Africans. Did you know that?
Wait, repeat it again.
The idea to inoculate yourself. You know what inoculation is, right?
No, remind me.
Inoculation is where vaccines came from, where you take the dead part of the disease and you put it over a bleeding part of your arm, and that vaccinates you against smallpox. Did you know Africans figured that out before Europeans? So when you say when you say that nothing came out of Africa, that's only because Europe basically colonized the world and erased a lot of that history. A lot of stuff was coming out of Africa. You just don't know about it because that's not what you're.
Oh heck no, nothing came out of Africa, dude. No philosophers. Well, I'm not gonna say
because you don't know about them. That's the only reason you don't know about them.
Oh, there's none. There's nothing to talk about. Even Africans don't talk about it
because they were colonized. Because in Africa, Did you know? Hold on, wait. Let me. What do you? Hold on, stop. Jordan. Be quiet for a second. No, hold on, Jordan. Be quiet for a second. Jordan, be quiet for a second. Jordan, be quiet for a second. I'm gonna ask you one question. Right? How does the education system in Ghana work? What did they teach you in history in Ghana?
I didn't go to Ghana, man.
Exactly. You don't fucking know. This is my issue, bro.
I talk to Africans, though, dude.
I know you talk to Africans, but even Africans themselves will tell you prior to colonialism, they're not taught that in their schools because the colonists are the ones who set up their school system. So of course they don't know a lot about it. A lot of Africans will tell you that pre-colonial history, they know about it when they leave Africa. Because they're not taught about pre-colonial history in Africa because the colonists are the ones who set up their system.
Okay. Let me respond.
So when you say, when you say nothing comes out of Africa, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because there are plenty of things that happen. No, you don't. Because you didn't Google. You don't even Google this. You don't even Google this.
But there's nothing.
You don't even Google this. What are the walls of Benin? Do you know what the walls of Benin are?
There's nothing interesting, dude.
What are the walls of Benin then? What are the walls of Benin? 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 There's over 500 languages in Nigeria alone.
Dude, did you guys create paper?
There's over 500 languages in Nigeria alone. Timbuktu had paper. You
guys did not create paper.
Timbuktu had paper.
What are you wait, go again?
Timbuktu had paper. Timbuktu has libraries in there that have paper books. Timbuktu has paper. This is what I'm saying. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Wait, explain to me.
You just said Africa didn't have paper, and the libraries of Timbuktu have books that have paper. I'm getting frustrated because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're being up here talking all this shit, saying that thing that you don't know that you know what you're talking about, but you don't. You just said that Africa didn't have paper, and the libraries of Timbuktu have books with paper.
I said it didn't invent paper.
The Chinese invented paper.
Thank you.
We all know that though. Europe didn't have paper either. What are you talking about?
I'll give you a challenge. Give me something interesting to learn about Africa.
The walls of Benin.
Except Northern Africa.
The walls of Benin. The walls of Benin. The walls of Benin. Look up the Mali Kingdom. Look up Mansa Musa. Look up the Congo civilization. Look up the Great Zimbabwe. Look up the Nok civilization. Look up Kush. Look up Nubia. Look up Aksum.
Hey, can I tell you something?
Look up Queen Nzinga.
Okay, I'll search those up. Let me tell you.
No, you won't.
Even Africans in Africa are tired.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and in the live, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I do appreciate y'all being up. We got the 16K likes. I appreciate everybody who's watching over on the Deconstruction Junction. You guys are wonderful as well. We didn't get a lot of views on this one, but I still appreciate y'all for being here. Did he just call in? Yeah, he just called him. All right, so I still appreciate y'all being here. Y'all are wonderful. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. We didn't get a lot of views this time, but I do appreciate y'all for being here and having the views anyway. What's going on, Chelsea? All right, guys, and over on my my YouTube, I do get I appreciate y'all being over here on my YouTube. I got the most views I got over on personal YouTube. If you're watching me from Volsy Thoughts, I do appreciate y'all. Give me 1 second, y'all. I was supposed to text somebody back. It was Ned. Hey, Ned, I'm sorry I didn't see your text message. But there's a call-in number right over here. Yeah, Flynn, I'm very, very patient, Flynn. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all wonderful. I love y'all. Remember to subscribe to my personal channel, Volsy Thoughts. Subscribe to the Deconstruction Junction. You guys are wonderful as well over in Deconstruction Junction. Over on my Facebook, I appreciate y'all for participating. If y'all want to know when to call in, the call-in line is right over here, y'all. It's right here. The 786-530-5941. You guys can call in there, and that's the call-in line. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Remember to always stay smart, observant. Remember your fallibility and remain thoughtful. Remember that dark is beautiful. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
Isaiah.